Hey guys, Roman here, and without wasting your time on anything else in this video, I'm going to share with you an important secret that Pierce was hiding for a really long time until I was able to crack it. So, one thing that I was doing for the last 3 years was to find out whether it is more beneficial to book your exam on a particular month or at a particular time of the year, because we have always been hearing this kind of rumors for other exams such as IELTS. So I wanted to find out if something similar exists in case of PTE as well. So what I did was in 2017 I started maintaining a log of all our successful students to see if they would be successful in any particular months more than in other months. And since from 2017 until 2020, we have trained more than 10,000 students, we have been able to see a remarkable trend. Candidates have higher likelihood of becoming successful during specific months of the year and have lower chances of getting their desired score during specific time of the year again. If you want to find out which are these months and why this happens, please continue watching the video. If you have not already subscribed to our channel, please do not forget to subscribe right now so that you do not miss any important updates like this in the future as well. So to start with, what I have found is Pearson tends to update all its materials at least 3 times every year. And this tends to happen in January, May, and September. So what I've found is in every 4 months, they add new set of questions. Now, those of you who are familiar with this exam or who have been appearing in this exam for a couple of times, perhaps you already know that questions tend to repeat a lot, especially in speaking, writing, and reading. And there are specific questions in these sections in which questions tend to come from the past exams. And what I have found is in every 4 months, they add new set of questions. Since questions repeat, if you get the same question that you have already practiced, obviously you have higher chances of getting the desired score because you have higher chances of answering the question correctly. And since they add new questions in January, there is more likelihood of getting new set of questions, which means unless you are competent enough, unless you learn all the important tips and tricks and you have a comprehensive understanding of English language, it's extremely difficult for you to get the desired score if you appear in January. Now remember, what I have just said here is if your English language skill is extremely good, if you actually can answer the question even if the questions do not repeat, you know how to speak in English, how to write in English, how to understand and analyze the ideas in English, and how to listen to and understand the ideas in English, then regardless of the month you appear in the exam, you will get your desired score. But if you tend to rely on repeated questions, you should avoid January because they tend to introduce a lot of new set of questions in January. And then they keep doing this until the mid of February, and then they gradually stop doing this. Which means from March onwards, you'll have access to almost all the questions they are going to ask from now onwards until April, because they do not update the question sets until May. So from February onwards, chances of getting the repeated question is very high. But if you appear in the exam in April, then you have the highest chances of getting the questions which have already been asked, which means you might be in a better position to answer those questions if you appear in the exam in April. So if I have to book my exam, most likely I'll book in April and most likely towards the end of April. If I cannot do that because I have some conditions because of which I have to do the exam as early as possible, then I will go for March. But I will try to avoid January and until the mid of February. And the same applies to other months as well. Again in May, Pearson introduces new set of questions, and that continues until the mid of June. From the mid of June, they tend to repeat the questions rather than add new questions. That means a candidate who appears in August will have access to most of the questions which they have already added. But now you have a problem here, because now you'll have to prepare the questions which have been asked from January to February, as well as the new set of questions which are added from May to June. Which means although the questions repeat and you will have higher chances of getting these questions in the exam, and you have higher chances of getting your desired score because you already know answer to those questions, you actually have now more questions to practice. So that means in August you have better chances if you can go through all the questions asked in 2020 so far, but you will have more questions to practice. If we go from September to December, the same thing repeats here as well. Because in September, again Pearson adds new set of questions, which continues until the mid of October. And then after that, they stop adding the questions and rather start using the same set of questions they have added in the upcoming months. So people who appear in the exam in November and December have higher chances of getting the repeated questions because they will have access to all the questions asked in 2020 so far. So if you go through all the questions asked from January to October, then you have very high chance of getting the same question, and because of that, very high chance of answering those questions correctly and getting your desired score. If you want to get your desired score, and for that you are relying on the repetition of the questions, you should avoid January, May and September. If possible, you should book your exam in April, August or December, although you can also book exams in March, July and November. So keep these things in mind while booking for your next exam. It will help you in getting your score by doing the repeated questions. Now, in order to make sure that you answer these repeated questions in the right way, you must have access to the portal, which is continuously updated with a new set of questions, and that is where we can help you. We have more than 3,000 past questions which we continuously update. We take out the questions which Pearson no longer uses in the exam and add new questions which they tend to repeat, and add the questions which they use in the recent exams. This way, you will not have to practice thousands of questions, and you will only be practicing the latest questions which have more chances of being repeated in the exam. Not just that, our portal comes with sample answers and tutorial videos as well. And you can also do the test, get the score, get the feedback, and get personalized suggestions before you appear in the test. If you want to find more about our courses, please head on to the link given on the screen right now. If you have any questions, please write in the comments, and if you have any ideas for the next video, please do share. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel, and all the best for your exam.